right, guys, it's been a little while since a Tower Simulator 3 video. I'd seen some mention of these things on the Discord channel, so I kind of held off wanting to see what fully developed. I was apprehensive of some of it, but the full announcement sounds interesting, so let's go through it. So, Tower Simulator 3 Update 7 adds some very interesting features to the game. So, they're adding a neural AI, pilot voices, and an optional speech recognition mode. They've got a brand new radio message log, easier bug reporting, much more. Yeah, whatever. You don't need to talk about that. So, new generation of pilot voices powered by neural AI technology runs entirely on your PC. I do like that it's all local. They don't need to take my voice and send it off to the internet. I like that you can change radio background noise. The tower and most pilots would sound okay at a major airport. Smaller general aviation or pilots coming from a long ways, or if there's storms and interference, they would sound bad, but it'll be interesting to see how that kind of works out. So speech recognition engine, this looks kind of like what I was interested in. Again, it doesn't really seem to be talking about what I want, but we have to go in and enable it. So we've got a bunch of different options. It seems like speech speed, speech mode, speech toggle SFX, and PTT interrupt mode. Interesting. Doesn't really say what all of these specifically are, but that's okay. I do like the PTT interrupt mode. This looks pretty awesome because there are times where I want to talk as ATC. And because, again, suspending a little bit of the realism here, we are one controller handling arrivals and departures. So if we are at a busy airport, normally you would wait for the pilot to finish speaking before you speak. But what I try to do is alternate between an arrival and departures. I don't get it right sometimes, and sometimes I get so far behind that I just blitz through everything I can to get caught up. But this is interesting to allow you, the controller, to kind of speak out and not necessarily get confused or messed up in the way that the voice comms kind of gets delayed and then catches up and all of that. So the first option, ducking, the AI keeps talking but is slightly quieter. For the way I try to play, I think this will be helpful because if I've spoken to an arrival and now I need to clear a departure, I'm on a different part of the airport, different frequency. I could speak in theory because I would be a different person. Cut and confirm is kind of what it does now. It kind of just pauses and then goes. The override and repeat is interesting and I think more realistic in the way things would happen at an airport where if you cut off a pilot that's speaking, especially a smaller airport where there may be one controller kind of handling the runway. This might be more realistic and interesting on that kind of the way the game does it now, in that AI will, not the AI, but the way the game will happen, it'll kind of delay all the responses until the ones I've issued are clear, and then it'll start trying to catch up. Whereas this, it'll just interrupt and then replay it back. So that's interesting. This is interesting. Flexible AI recognizer is a completely different recognition system than the legacy. So a small increase in response time can be expected depending on your PC. I've got a 9800 X3D, so I'm not really worried about my CPU hanging in this game. GPU-wise, I've got a last generation GPU, so even the GPU shouldn't really be the bottleneck. I think my performance issues in game are mostly around optimizations at ATL and other airports, but because of that, some behaviors may feel different at first, and there can definitely be a bit of a learning curve when getting used to it. If you prefer a faster response of the previous system, the legacy recognizer is still available. I'm not sure how to feel about that. I think in a somewhat realistic way, there will be a reasonable delay between ATC saying something, the pilot on the plane either trying to remember it or write some quick notes of the taxiways or whatever instructions they're given and then repeating them back to me. So we'll see how that plays out, but I think it'll be all right. Radio message log. Be interesting to see if this actually properly manages the entire log of radio messages versus the current one. Don't really care about bug reporting. And then there's some traffic update. What's interesting is I didn't really see one of the things that had me slightly concerned. So I'll talk about that now before we jump in game. I'm not going to do a full playthrough. I'm just going to do a quick one, go through the settings, take a look at it, and then just briefly jump into a busy airport and see what we think very quickly. I'll do a more proper playthrough in a couple of days. I've had a lot going on at work right now, so I'm really tired and I'm not going to be in a mental state to handle any sort of proper traffic flow. But the one that really was interesting that I saw in the Discord was that the way the recognizer and the other systems work now is and you've heard me complain about this a lot, in that the legacy system requires you to be exacting. If the system does not hear the exact phrases and the exact wording, and you've heard me screw this up on a number of commands between Tower 3D Pro and Tower Simulator 3, it won't take it. The AI system is supposed to be able to understand that you are close enough to extrapolate the actual tokens from what you said, and it's converted to speech, and then the speech text gets converted to the tokens, and that goes off, and it's able to kind of gauge what you actually want the pilot to do. So from that perspective, I'm really quite interested in how this works. However, I'm hoping that it doesn't mean that we can sort of just make up commands that are close enough. I want it to be restricted enough that you have to actually talk kind of like a tower to both order things in the way they would and should be in the real world, but not so strict that, like, if I say via instead of via, and I put taxiway in front of via or after it, whichever one it screws it up. I can't remember which way is wrong now. That's something a pilot is more than adequately going to interpret and get properly. Same thing with following company to cross a runway that they're literally sitting at, and basic things like that. So I'm hoping that it will really improve the flow of that, because a lot of where I get hung up is honestly where I screw up a command or I get it slightly backwards, and then I have to go back, figure out what I did wrong, restate my command, and get back into the flow of it. That's where it kind of pulls me out of my flow, and I start getting screwed up and start to fail. And the busier the activity is, the more of those mistakes I make. I don't usually completely screw things up, but there are times where those minor issues, and then I have to go back, it really kind of throws you out of your game that wouldn't necessarily happen or be that detrimental in the real world. No, I'm not saying I want the game to just say plane at runway 8 right, take off. No, that is completely, to me, out of left field and not a real command. I should still have to address the call sign and do everything properly. It's just certain little things should be acceptable. And I'm sure all of us have listened to towers on airplanes, through scanners, through YouTube, through apps that allow us to just listen in. And we've heard towers modify command strings to loop multiple things together to get the right information out there, but they're not stating it in the quote unquote perfect way that is logged in a file textbook somewhere. It's close enough. And that's what I'm hoping this will allow us to do, so that we can actually get some easier progress. And when I make a simple mistake, it doesn't throw my entire playthrough. Now, I do make some mistakes where I get the call sign wrong or things like that. Those are easier to fix because I know it's wrong, I see it's wrong, and it doesn't throw me out of the loop. That's something sometimes controllers get. They have to verify who's talking or double check the call sign to make sure that what they heard was accurate. They don't necessarily get the call sign wrong, but sometimes there's a few minor things that get befuddled in the myriad of options and call signs out there. So I'm really interested in that aspect of it. Not seeing it in this announcement here is a little bit disconcerting, but let's jump in and take a look at those settings. Okay, I only really recorded the tail end of that, just was not expecting there to be a brand new intro to the game that was pretty cool to watch, similar to the custom mod for Tower 3D Pro that was made. It showed some action going around the airport. It was kind of cool, neat. All right, let's take a look at some of these settings. I'm just pulling back up the announcement on my other monitor here. So we go under settings. These should all be under sound. Yeah, there's the recognizer mode. Fast and strict. I don't remember what a lot of these are, but I do want to do the flexible AI on the recognizer mode. I believe that's what it was talking about. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, whatever. I don't need a filter on my microphone because I don't deal with a noisy environment to that same extent. Microphone tester, volume. Hopefully it didn't mess with any of that. Speech speed is still fast. Radio low. I think that's just the volume. I don't know. Let's see what it says here. I don't want to go dig up all the other stuff, but I think we're fine. Toggle SFX. I do like the old beep. And it looks like we're ducking to 50%, which is exactly what I wanted it to do. So that's great. That's already set by default, which is interesting. It said that these weren't set. I wonder when I selected the flexible AI, that's what it chose. Let's see. Hold down the left shift. Magic 123 taxi to ramp via Bravo. Okay, so my mic works. Yeah, I don't have any issues with my mic or the filters. Sounds fine, a little quiet. Menu music, I'm going to turn this way down. Actually, shoot. If I do that now, it's going to screw up my video after the fact, so I'll deal with that another day. I don't see a lot of anything else that I need to look at. I still like the old beep. Whatever. I guess that's it. I thought there'd be a few more settings in here, but let's apply that. All right, let's go to a quick play. We've been messing with Atlanta, and I can't think of a better airport right now. I gotta remember the name. I can't think of a better airport to really get busy with quickly. I'm just going to run the same 7:30 a.m. that I did last time. We're going to run the same arrival patterns that we did last time, and we're just going to jump in and roll it. All right, so we are in. I've got 2 planes already on my arrival board. Yeah, I think we're good. Hey, it finally remembered my POV size. I hate that thing being 9 miles long. We got 2 planes coming in. Oh shoot, we got 3 planes coming in here. This is going to be interesting. Okay. Yeah, it's going to be busy. But again, we're not really doing a full playthrough. I apologize if I yawn.
Atlanta ground, Alaska 377 with information Juliet. Requesting push and start.
Alaska 377, pushback approved. Expect runway 27 right. I can see voice up there.
Pushback approved. Expect runway 27 right. Alaska 377.
Okay, there is a bit of delay. I like that. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to give full running commentary, so I may pause, but the static in there is a bit distracting when you're used to crisp, clear audio, but I think that's pretty realistic. It wasn't too bad. I think that was
Atlanta
the radio
ground,
noise
Brickyard
low.
4326 with information Juliet. Requesting push and start.
Brickyard 4326, pushback approved. Expect runway 26 left. I'm gonna have to
Pushback approved. Expect runway 26 left. Brickyard 4326.
He almost sounds British. I wonder if they've classified some of the airlines and the accents that they should have within the AI. Maybe it's recognizing Brickyard as a British. Is Brickyard British? Oh my gosh, I can't remember. I don't.
Atlanta ground, Southwest 2739er with information Juliet. Requesting push and start.
Southwest 2739er, pushback approved. Expect runway 27 right. Okay, go
Pushback approved. Extend
Definitely
runway
delayed
27
on
right,
this as
Southwest
well.
2739er.
Oh my god, we got a ton of planes coming in. Pushback approved. Okay, I do see a lot more in the log here. I like that. There's a lot more options. We'll have to look at that later. At least I think there's more options. And this is the log that
Atlanta
they were
ground,
talking about on
Alaska
the screen.
377, ready to taxi.
Alaska 377, runway 27 right.
Runway 27 right, Alaska 377.
I need to lower this delay. I gotta find that option. I think it's in the GUI.
Atlanta Tower, Delta 2931, on final 28.
Yeah, hang on. We gotta pause this.
Atlanta
So,
Tower, Southwest 2520, run final 26 right.
oh, that sounds good. Over here, it does look like there's more information in this specific log, which I like. It might be the same. Looked like there's more options. I don't use this very much because these call signs don't actually tell me anything about it. But it is nice that there is more information in here and it is logged out. The main one that I'm calling out is the one that's on screen where they can show you the difference between the planes and the tower here and which commands are being issued, which I like. I remember reading about this online, and there should be a delay where you can change it. I'm not sure exactly where that delay is. Radio log size is 8. Radio log timer right here. That's perfect. The zoom looks okay to me at 75%. I can't do math. I think it's up there for a couple minutes. 300 divided by 60. Wow. Okay, let's just pull up Google. At most of these airports, I don't need these up here very long, and I don't need more than, I think, 4. The problem that I'm going to have with it, and what I really want to do is move it, is because it's covering up my strips so I can no longer see the planes. And you can see here it is converting the numbers that the pilots are giving to the full text-based version, and mine gets converted to the number version. So I think they need to align that to where once the pilot speaks, it actually just gives me the numbers instead of the full readout written out. And then I need to be able to move this somewhere. I don't think there's really ever going to be a good spot, but I feel like if I move this over here to the bottom right, it will only be covering up my departure strips or potentially my ground strips up there. And that's not going to impact me as much as it covering active runways and the strips that I need to be able to see, or the actual voice comm section at the top to see what it's converting my speech into. So I like that, but yeah, I don't love it. You can see they've got some features. I don't remember the random go around being in here. It's disabled, so it's not something I can do yet, but that's kind of cool. I don't recall seeing that before. I don't know. I may have to disable this entirely. That sucks because I really like the idea of having it. It's the info panel. I don't remember some of these. It's been so long. Damn. 1 second. Let's leave it up for... Oh, okay, you can't just go by 1. You have to scroll really carefully. I want to go to 4. I like even numbers. Oh, well, I guess we're going to 5. Let's try it with 2 for just a moment and see what this does. So I've only got 1. My strips down here are back open. I might be able to squeeze 3 in there, but it is going to cover up where the voice comms go. Let's look at just these 2 for a minute and see kind of how this looks. Delta 2931, runway 28, cleared to land. Okay, and my voice is up there, so it's not impacting that at all.
Runway 28, cleared to land. Delta 2931.
Southwest 2520, runway 26 right, cleared to land.
Runway 26 right, cleared to land, Southwest 2520.
Southwest 1267, runway 27 left, cleared to land. Don't think he'd actually called in yet, but whatever.
Runway 27 left, cleared to land Southwest 1267.
Okay, ground, any Brickyard to call in?
Atlanta Tower, Southwest 1267, com final 27 left.
Yeah, that's the one I just did. Okay, these two have
Atlanta ground, Brickyard 4326, ready to taxi.
Brickyard 4326, continue taxi. I missed seeing my...
Continue taxi, Brickyard 4326.
text as much. Well, let's see. Yeah, 6 seconds is good. I might be able to add a few more.
Atlanta ground Southwest 2739er, ready to taxi.
Southwest 2739er, continue taxi.
Continue taxi Southwest 2739er.
I should probably send one of these down to Mike, see if I get the taxi via Mike. Taxi.
Atlanta ground, Delta 1228 with information Juliet, requesting push and start.
Delta 1228, pushback approved. Expect runway 26 left via taxiway Foxtrot. It's a command I don't
Command
think I've
requirement
issued.
missing, Delta
Yeah.
1228.
So it caught it, it just doesn't work. Delta 1228, pushback approved. Expect runway 26 left. So I still need to get close.
Pushback approved, expect runway 26 left, Delta 1228.
Or maybe my command string wasn't right. I'll have to double check.
Atlanta Tower, Delta 1622 on final 26 right.
Okay.
Atlanta Tower, Southwest 1239er on file 27 left.
Settings, we're in game. This is where I want to be. Let's see if I can put 3 and great. I'm scrolling my map. Timer. 10 seconds seems like a lot to me. I want to go to 8. If I can get it to stop there. I'd love to be able to use the arrow keys, but no. All right, that should... I might be able to get to 4. Yeah, let's just try 4. My main requirement is that it does not cover up my strips.
Atlanta Tower, Delta
be good.
2441 on final 28.
Delta 1622, runway 26 right, cleared to land.
Runway 26 right, cleared to land, Delta 1622.
Southwest 1239er, runway 27 left, cleared to land.
Runway 27 left, cleared to land, Southwest 1239er.
I don't think Delta 244 had called in yet.
Atlanta ground, Delta 2653 with information Juliet, requesting push and start.
Delta 2653, pushback approved, expect runway 26 left.
Pushback approved, expect runway 26
Alaska
left,
377,
Delta
runway
2653.
27 right, cleared for immediate takeoff.
Runway 27 right, cleared for immediate takeoff, Alaska 377.
Okay, that was my first test of speaking over a pilot. That actually wasn't too bad. Yeah, that worked out pretty well. The colors by default, the yellow's okay. It's the blue. You can't read it over the white because the white is so bright. I don't remember what I came in here for. I think I was going to have these stay a little bit longer. Let's try a full 10 seconds. I like it though. Those are handy. It's going to be finding the right balance for you about what you utilize in the screen. I hope they add a placement option where you can set up a couple quadrants on your screen or maybe just drag it by hand like you could in the old GUI in the old game. I think they should also, like I've said this a million times, every color in this game should be selectable here within the GUI. I should not have to go to an Excel file and input hex code to change the color scheme of anything in this game in 2026. That's just ridiculous to me. But we're not here talking about my gripes.
Atlanta ground, Delta 289er6 with information Juliet, requesting push and start.
Delta 289er6, pushback approved. Expect a runway 27 right. I'm way behind on my strips,
Negative,
I guess.
need pushback first, Delta 289er6.
What? Delta 289er6, pushback approved. Expect runway 27 right.
Pushback approved, expect runway 27 right, Delta 289er6.
Let's see where this what a mess. Let's just
Atlanta
clear.
ground, Delta 1228, ready to taxi.
Okay, I got Delta 1228 ready to taxi. I gotta do something else first, sorry.
Atlanta Tower, Delta 2543 on final 26 right.
Delta 2441, runway 28, cleared to land.
Runway 28, cleared to land, Delta 2441.
Delta 2543, runway 26 right, cleared to land.
Runway 26 right.
Delta
clear to land,
1228,
Delta
runway
2543.
26 left, taxi via Foxtrot.
Runway 26 left via Foxtrot, Delta 1228.
So I think it caught it. I think I paused it for a second here. I think that's the command that I screw up a lot. I can't remember. You used to have to say taxi via, but now I don't think you have to say taxi. And in this case, I said taxi, but it still caught what I wanted. So I think that's part of that system catching it. Now, maybe it did take it, just didn't say it back to me. I wish it would be able to. I mean, this is AI, so it should, in theory, be able to take what I've given it as far as a token and repeat the full string of commands back to me once it understands it, versus cutting what I added and reading back just the specific command. But it is the first iteration of the system, so I'm not going to give them too much grief for it, if that is, in fact, it coming in and working. I also would like the ability here... in the sound menu to do a custom duck. If I select a duck, there should be a slider here and I can pick the duck volume level. I would like to personally drop it a little bit more. I can still hear the other pilot extremely well, and while it's so much better now and I can focus a little better, I think in a serious playthrough, dropping it down to maybe 40-30%. 25 seems like a bit much, but I think 40-ish% sounds like a good level for my play. But so far, I'm liking the system. You can see, I'll try to pause it on the screen here. You can see when it picks up my voice, and you can see where it's picking out the tokens and the words and kind of registering things, I believe, in the green. Let me unpause it and just start talking and see what it does. So I'm just going to start talking here, and yeah, I guess it's not picking up that. I wonder if it's picking up certain phrases. I'm curious what, maybe if, yeah, it's the volume of what I'm saying that's peaking. So that's kind of interesting. It's telling you where you're quiet and where you're loud. I don't think white necessarily means that yeah, white is too quiet, so I'm wrong. Green is, I think, perfect. Yellow is starting to get loud. Yellow is starting to get a bit loud. That's not too bad. Red means you are clipping. So too loud, and it's not going to be able to pick up your voice. So I like that it's giving you that immediate feedback on, hey, you're speaking just fine, your audio level is good, or you're too loud, or what you're saying is potentially too soft. Now, just because it is registered as white does not mean that it is too soft. I think there is an option in here. When I did the playback test on my microphone, it did come back as a little bit quiet, but there's not much I can really do about that. I can't add any boost to this in here, so that's kind of annoying. Yeah, I can't boost my volume any. I can in Windows, but again, I use my microphone for Discord, other games, and it's not really that quiet. I think it's just the way the game's registering, but it's not an issue in the way the games are handling it. So.
Atlanta Tower, Delta 1132, come final 27 left.
Southwest 2739, runway 27 right, cleared for immediate takeoff. Southwest 1267, taxi to apron via Whiskey Lima.
Runway 27 right, cleared for immediate takeoff, Southwest 2739er.
Southwest, I was expecting to continue talking in the background, but I guess because
Atlanta,
I started talking before it didn't work. And Southwest 1267 has not acknowledged my
Atlanta
taxi
Tower,
command.
Southwest 2436 on final 28.
Southwest 1267, taxi to apron via Whiskey.
Taxi to apron via Whiskey.
Southwest 2739er, contact departure.
Negative 5M on the ground, Southwest
Delta
2739er.
Wanted to see if I could get it to do something here.
Atlanta ground, Delta
Brickyard.
906, ready to taxi.
Okay, so they're finally talking. Brickyard 4326, runway 26 left, cleared for takeoff. Delta 2931, taxi to apron via Romeo, Whiskey, Lima.
Runway 26 left, cleared for takeoff. Brickyard 4326.
He waited. Delta 2931, taxi to apron via Romeo, Whiskey, Lima. Okay, so it's got it. I wish it would.
Taxi to apron by
Give it
Romeo,
to
Whiskey
me.
Lima, Delta 2931.
All right, so I think that's enough of a test for first playthrough. Gives you a decent idea of what it does, like the bug report option there now. There's a few things here to work out. I'm not sure where these settings might even be. What I like seeing the waveform of it interpolating my voice and then showing me kind of the clipping, not clipping, and all of that. I like that. What I want is to also see it interpreting my speech so that I know it's got it. In the old legacy version of the recognizer, it tells me immediately, as I'm watching the commands appear at the top left, which is just habit from Tower 3D and this, I can see that it's not got what I've said. So I can correct it more efficiently. However, as I say that, in real life, that's not going to be there. And taking your eyes off of your screens to look at something to register your voice is not exactly the smartest way to do it. So this might actually force some better habits with me. I'm just going to have to listen for the readback, because as you heard, there were several pilots. I gave a couple quick departure, a couple quick commands to planes, and then immediately jammed the airwaves again so that I could provide another command. With the ducking, I thought that other planes would still be able to speak beneath me, but I guess it interrupts them. If I interrupt them, it will then duck them. That's what it seems to happen. We'll need more testing and playthroughs to see how that exactly works, but that is interesting. And there were a couple of times I gave both the Southwest and that Delta flight, or Brickyard flight, whatever it was, taxi to apron clearance, but I had to do it twice, and I'm not sure if that's because I jumped in on top of another plane or if I did something wrong in the command, but I don't think I did. Anyway, these are fun options. I like that they've added them. It is finally an update where they've done something that is an add in a step in the right direction to make controlling both more convenient, more realistic, and more accessible. More tests will be needed to see kind of how we can screw up the commands to see where it will recognize them and take them and where it will break. But the one via and taxi via command was very helpful for me because I still want to say taxi via instead of just via. And it catching that is good for me, and I like that. But I'll be interested to see if I'll even be able to break it because my brain is now wired to try and do more things correctly. So interesting, quick little video and a test. And again, hopefully here in within a week, I can get in here and do some actual play. See how it goes. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.